Friend who laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember MEAD magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
We're gonna get a little bit crazy, wild and maybe even vulgar, if you please. It's after dark and we're gonna light it up. Got some fun in store for you, no tease. It's time for Midnight Sesh After Dark. A little naughty, will hopefully make you chuckle, but we ain't trying to hurt nobody, so get ready quick on the double, cause it's time for Midnight Sesh After Dark.
Endless crap! That's right, that's all we're getting from now on. Get ready, kids. And you're gonna like it. More threats of endless crap coming out of Hollywood and more on today's episode of Midnight Sesh After Dark, the best show on YouTube. According to anybody who asks.
I like turtles.
Welcome to the program. I'm Tom Connors, or Tom Dracula. And we have with us here a Canadian, blah, script doctor. He is muted. Now we say hello.
Hey, how's it going, eh?
There he is. How are you today?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. We had some warm weather, surprisingly, this late into October. So yeah, we're enjoying ourselves. It's t-shirt weather now.
Is what they call an Indian summer.
Yes. Yeah.
Listen to them, the screeching of the Karens, what noise they make. We also have Price of Reason. Blah.
Hey, how's it going?
I never say blah.
Bleh.
Doesn't the Count from Sesame Street say blah a lot?
No, I think they stole that from what's his face from SCTV.
Joe Flaherty for Count Floyd.
I think he did it initially, yeah. But anyway, how you doing, Price?
I'm
You're
doing
dressed as
good.
the Count as well.
Yeah, I saw that you were the Count, so I'm the Count as well.
We will have a count off. 1, 2, 3 morons on the screen at the same time. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know
Of course,
what
I'm the
annoyed
only
me more
moron
growing
here.
up. I don't know what annoyed me more growing up, that Count from Sesame Street or Count Chocula.
I always liked the Count from Sesame Street. I was kind of ambivalent, or whatever you want to call it, to the Chocula one. You guys want to hear the truth? Like that, their cereal sucks now since they started making it with corn or whatever instead of grains, like they did back in the day. Like it sucks. It
Wait,
used to
what
be
do you
so
mean?
much better.
Why did they change it?
Oh, they
Cheaper.
changed it when they brought it back like 10, 15 years ago or whatever it was. And it's been that corn syrup shit ever since. It's not even the old school. Cause the non-marshmallows used to be more like the consistency of like Alpha-Bits back in the day when I was a kid.
Right.
Now they're not. They're like that corn meal shit now. They're not the same to me. I don't like them anymore. They're not the same as when I was growing up.
Cocoa Puffs still Cocoa Puffs, or have they've changed too?
Do they even make those still? Yeah, I think they do.
I think they do. I don't eat
I think
cereal
those are the
often
same.
anymore. I feel
Not
like
me either, but
I
I eat
ate it as a
Fiber One,
kid,
man.
but then I stopped.
I do from time to time. But
But just quickly, I have to say, you know what I used to really like as a kid? When there was the Flintstones commercials for Flintstones cereal. I
Bonnie,
love
those
that.
are my Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles, yeah.
Hey, Fred.
Hey, Fred, I love that. I don't know why. I immediately wanted to, and it wasn't even so good, the Flintstone cereal, but I just wanted to eat that cereal because I like the Flintstones and their commercials were great.
I like Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles. The only problem with them is they go soggy real fast, so I generally tend
Yeah.
to lean towards Cocoa Krispies instead of Cocoa
Right.
Pebbles,
The
but,
Cocoa Rice Krispies one is better than the Cocoa Pebbles, although I did eat Cocoa Pebbles. I like that better than the Fruity Pebbles. Fruity
Yeah,
Pebbles,
most people do, but
you know, anything, even Tricks, I was always kind of ambivalent about. Lucky Charms, I
I
don't
haven't
know.
seen Tricks in ages.
Tricks, they've changed a lot.
They
And, you know, it took
have.
me forever to realize that Tricks were just basically Fruity Kicks.
You know what? I think because they changed Tricks so much, you're not legally able to sell them in Canada because
Oh, really?
it doesn't pass our health
Probably because all
standards.
the colors they have and shit in them now, yeah.
Like, I mean, we have some strict laws on certain artificial food colorings up here.
That's what I was imagining, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, it used to be there was only, like, 4 or 5 colors, and they were just basically kicks with coloring. Because you guys know what kicks are, right? They're just, like, puffed.
Puff things, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
cereal or whatever they are. Maybe they're corn, I don't know. But, so basically that's what basically kicks or tricks are, but they're just fruity versions of those. But they're just like Fruit Loops and any other fruity cereal. Every one of them tastes the same no matter what fucking color they are.
And all of them taste weird. I like the ones, you know, over the years, maybe because I'm more mature. If I had to eat one now, I like the Quaker Oats squares.
Right.
Maybe if you really push me to the corner, maybe like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I eat mostly adulty kind of cereals if I do, but even those aren't that great for you, as I was told by
Yeah, no,
by
I
beauty
don't eat those
doctors.
too often. But yeah, the adulty ones, those kind of like the boring
I was
ones.
told those are almost as bad as the regular ones, but
They're
Brian,
probably all bad.
and the reason why they're all bad is
the only one I eat is Fiber One because it's got one ingredient, fiber.
yeah, there's a few of them that, yeah, obviously if they're like that, but like Brian said here, what's happened to syrup? Well, the biggest problem is corn syrup.
Yeah.
And then corn in general. Like they've replaced corn with a lot of the things that used to be made with wheat and rice and other actual food.
I mean, corn is food, but when you refine it and
yeah, it's
do all the
not
stuff
really
they
that
do to
much
it,
food.
It loses its food qualification, I think.
Yeah, as I was told by like I've heard like there's not that much nutrients in corn, and then like you just said, once you start fucking with it, then it's just basically sugars, and then it's refined sugars, and it's worse than sugar, and it's like yeah, it's good for your gas tank. That's about it probably. But yeah, that's about the best I can answer that. Then ActionCom firing in 2 super chats right off the bat. Thank you so much, ActionCom. We'll give you a little round of applause there from the studio audience. ActionCom says with $5, I just saw the trailer for the new Captain Nemo series called Nautilus. Now, this is the one I thought was the one on Apple, but I guess this is something I'm completely unaware of. And as a fan of the character, I got to say, what the F? Okay, I know what he said. ActionCom sends in another 10 and says, Captain Nemo is a scientist, engineer, and explorer, but, he built the Nautilus to escape the society and achieve his goals. He was he was not a put upon thief who stole the submarine from a corporation. Okay, so I haven't seen this trailer yet, so I have no sense of reference for this, nor am I going to honestly show it, ActionCom, because Amazon's one of the worst for nailing you besides Netflix. Yeah, what do you guys think about this? I haven't heard about this. Have you guys seen it at all, or are you aware of it?
I know a little bit about the show. It's I think ActionCom has got it right, because what I heard is that they, instead of Captain Nemo being the guy that built the Nautilus, he's now a pirate that stole it, and it just feels like a really desperate take on trying to do something new with the character, where it's, even though he's well revered in fiction on the book side of things, there's a lot of people that don't know this character. So you have no reason not to be authentic to the character when adapting him for a series. Like, there's no reason to say, we got to do it new. We got to put a twist on it. We got to do this with Captain Nemo. There's no reason for that, because we haven't been over inundated with what I used to say, we haven't been overburdened with so many Captain Nemo stories that we're just like, everybody knows this character. We don't need any more. Like, you don't need that new interpretation on it at this point. So it just seems kind of weird.
Yeah, I wish I had more to say on it. Action Com, I'll have to check it out. Maybe if I see it between now and the morning show, I'll let you know what I think. John Riker sends in 5 and says, since the CW got sold, whatever happened to Babylon 5 series that wasn't going to maybe happen? Well, I think you answered part of your question when you said it maybe wasn't going to happen. But from my knowledge, that it's still kind of sitting on the back burner, and they put out that, what was it, that animated movie like a year ago?
They did the animated movie, which is the setup to the new series. As far as I know, the new series doesn't have a home anymore because CW is not doing scripted content. They're going into a completely different direction. It's funny because what was it? Bitsy Tulloch, who plays Lois Lane on the Superman and Lois show, makes a claim that is also being reaffirmed by the head of CW. It's a lie, but it's being reaffirmed, is that the reason they're not making any more of those Superman shows is because Warner Brothers doesn't want to have their Superman compete with the TV show. No, the show was canceled before Superman Legacy was even a thought in James Gunn's eye.
Yeah, no, they were going to shut all those shows down anyway. We had heard that earlier on. And
exactly.
I mean, yeah, as far as I know, last I kind of vaguely remember hearing was that animated movie was some testing grounds. They were trying to get Max to sign on for it for like a streaming series. But last I heard, it all kind of depended on how that was received. And I don't think it was the most well received.
I think it had more to do with the fact the animation style wasn't that fantastic. It was kind of like a cell shaded type of thing.
Yeah. But that's all I know at this point. I haven't heard anything new. But if I do hear anything, I'll let you guys know. That's the last I knew. Was just kind of hanging there, waiting to see how this went. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that wasn't that long ago. So maybe they're still deciding. If not, maybe it just wasn't enough. It didn't seem like they had enough interest in it still. But aren't they supposed to be putting? Didn't I hear something? Or no, that's one I think that's trapped forever in standard def, isn't it? Or is that one of the ones they were going to be doing an HD version of? Or did it get dropped? No, they did one for Max. They did
an HD. They did an HD of Babylon 5, the series.
Yes.
The only thing they didn't do is they didn't, like, they used the same original assets, but they didn't upgrade the assets for their special effects. But they still look great.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, did they put that out on Blu-ray yet or not? I was going to say that might also been a testing ground too to see how that sold.
I don't know for sure. I do know. I mean, it had some pretty good numbers when it dropped on Max a few years back.
Again, yeah, those things are usually predicated on those things, and since they're kind of getting back to those kind of metrics again, in a way, I mean, I'd imagine that's what's going on with that. But I wish I had more to go on than that. That's the best I know. And then we got Action Com again, who says, "Don't watch the Nautilus trailer. Read the comment section. That's the true entertainment." Oh boy, I could almost imagine in this day and age.
That wouldn't be bad.
SFX Sabretooth Raptor says, "Tom, I miss the Carnation breakfast bars from the 80s. Basically a granola bar coated in chocolate." Yeah, I think I know the ones you're talking about. Those
I don't
were the other
those.
ones with the fruit that had fruit in them. I'm trying to remember now.
There was granola bars, but it wasn't. What company had the granola bars when we grew up?
Quaker Oats.
Quakers, yeah.
Yeah, probably. What?
And Sunmaid, I think it was the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those are basically like eating candy bars. Like they're not much better. Like, you'd be surprised if you go through shit how much it's like, might as well just be eating the bad shit, because this supposedly better shit for me is not that much better, if at all.
Nutri-Grain up here in Canada Kellogg's up here in Canada had some healthy bars, but they vanished once the pandemic hit.
See, at least some countries have some stipulations to where either they have their own version of it to where it's not as unhealthy as the US version, or like Script said earlier, they just don't carry it at all. So but Patrick Robbins says, "I watched the trailer for the new Wolfman. Doesn't look terrible, except the bite appears to be more of an infection, and he will not be transforming with a full moon." Yeah, I was kind of worried about this, and they addressed that one mask or whatever that people were seeing at the Hollywood Horror Nights. And I guess that was a little bit, people were jumping the gun a little bit on that from what it looked like. But I'm still going to approach this one a little bit more with caution because, look, all these Universal reboots, all the way back through like Van Helsing and shit like that, have sucked. They've all sucked. I know some people like them, and that's fine. You can like them unapologetically because I like Morbius unapologetically, but I know it's a bad movie. Right? See, and these are all bad movies. I'm sorry. They all sucked. Even the Dracula Untold and stuff like that people like. They're shit. Frankenstein, all this stuff. They've tried how many times now to do this stuff? This new one might be good because I think isn't this the first one that Blumhouse is involved in with the Universal horror? Or is this completely unrelated to Universal? I forgot now.
I don't know because I know Blumhouse has the Invisible Man. They released that.
They did that one already. Okay, so they did that one already. That's right.
Yeah,
but that was still kind of like a bridge, weird one because that was still tangentially connected, I think, to the other one. But then it's
they were rebooted
since then.
Yeah.
So if this is a new one, I'll give it a shot, maybe, because I do like Wolfman and werewolf movies. But just from what I saw of the trailer, it just kind of was like, I'll wait and see here. Have you guys watched it yet?
No, I haven't.
No,
I haven't checked it out.
Yeah. Well, they're not vampires, so they don't suck. They're werewolves. They howl.
I think he's talking about your comment of
Blumhouse,
the vampire movie earlier.
I know, yeah. Yeah, Blumhouse is involved. That's what I thought, yeah. So it is basically a remake of the original Universal horror film.
But that's the one where it's like they trap them into a cage and then they tried to cure them. Is that's the same Blumhouse Wolfman thing?
Maybe.
Because if they're doing a remake of it, I'd prefer just a single Wolfman. That's what
it's being called anyway. I mean, I'm under that impression, but I have no idea what they're doing to alter it.
Yeah. Let's see. Remember the Benicio del Toro Wolfman movie? That was garbage.
Well, that's another one they tried at that time. Yeah.
Funny part is they didn't need to do much makeup for Benicio del Toro. Just put some extra hair on his face.
Really?
No snout required. No contacts. Nothing. Kept his eyebrows the same.
Yeah. I mean,
this is a different trailer. Okay, so this is different. I saw another trailer where it's like werewolves are.
This is the new.
It's like a purge type of situation.
I don't think they even show the werewolf in it at all.
Oh, this.
I think my husband.
I don't want to show too much of it because it's Universal.
No, it's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Let's see here. And then we got okay, so we did get all the super chats. So let's get into our top story. We've got here with Disney threatening us with more crap that nobody asked for the most part. A secret Predator movie that wasn't so secret. Everybody's so secret that everybody knew about it already.
Mm-hmm.
Another Alien movie that we already pretty much figured was probably going to happen. And a Speed 3 everybody just scratched their head about. So this comes courtesy of Steve Asbell.
He's the head. Well, he's the co-head of 20th Century Studios. He used to be the head, and then Disney brought in another guy.
So bonus, a lightning round on all the 20th Century franchise titles you lie in bed at night thinking about. Yes, that includes a Master and Commander prequel. Did somebody ask for a Master and Commander prequel? I remember people wanted sequels back in the day because isn't it like a book series or something like that?
Yeah, that people definitely want more Master and Commanders. So prequel or sequel, you're at least getting one more of that story. I just don't know if you're going to get anyone who can do what that first one did on this team.
Well, here's the story. We're going to read through this quick. This summer, this was the summer that theatrical audiences really refamiliarized themselves with the famous 20th Century logo. Arcing searchlights and all. The Disney-owned division was everywhere thanks to hits Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. You really call that a hit? And Alien Romulus. Both of those I'd call modest hits at best. Not to mention the first Omen that I don't think anybody went to see. And
I know a couple people that saw it and loved it, but
the first Omen?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think it did that great at the box office.
The thing is, not many people saw the movie. That's the problem.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it did much at the box office. But anyway, even Deadpool and Wolverine, which grossed $1.3 billion and featured the logo before and in the movie, which was part of a love letter to the Fox-era Marvel movies. Guiding 20th is the steady hand of Steve Asbell, a longtime Fox exec who became president of the division in 2020, just when the pandemic hit. He navigated the transitional movies and then the pandemic movies, and then the switch to streaming and back to theatrical again. Boy, that was a tough
period for the guy. Yeah.
No, I meant to read there, like to write that way. Like I'm just like, and then, yeah. Anyway, but as much as the Summers movies were about franchises long ago, the studios has one eye very much on the future. It is working with up-and-coming filmmakers on streaming features that could pivot to theatrical if an opportunity opens up. Oh, that's a bad idea. And it's stepping on the gas on some original theatrical movies. All the success gives us equally and
gives us equity and momentum.
I'm going to make this bigger. Sorry.
Yeah, you should make this bigger. You have a giant screen.
Well, it's on my secondary screen to the left. That's why. All this success gives us equity and momentum to sort of take these shots, says Asbell, noting the division goes into production on Bruce Springsteen featured starring Jeremy Allen. Who the fuck wants that? Later this month, and due to shoot, send help with Sam Raimi in January. Did anybody ask for a Bruce Springsteen fucking biopic or anything? Like,
I think a big portion of New Jersey did.
Why?
Well, I may or may not have already seen his movie, the one that's going to be on Hulu, the documentary.
No, this isn't a documentary. This sounds like...
No, I know, but I actually saw that one,
okay.
The documentary one.
Was there anything in there that made it sound like his life is worth telling a fucking movie about?
On the contrary, what I thought when I watched that movie is that it seemed like very monitored. It seemed like if you asked a publicist to write a movie, that's what it seemed like, that movie. It doesn't... you want to know more about him and stuff that's more dirt. I don't know what to say, but you want something a little more authentic, and I feel like it's very, very monitored. It's in a controlled environment where every single word that's said there is really planned. They're not letting you in. They don't want you to see beyond what they want you to see, if you understand what I'm saying.
And that's with every documentary.
No, but every documentary you feel that, and there's a compromise. They say, okay, well, that's what we want to do, but we still got to give the people something. Here, I feel like maybe it was Bruce himself that said, fuck it, let's not give them anything. Let's do exactly what I say. Like, you have to say this, you have to say that. And that's what it feels like, to me.
So, will that be the case for the Bruce Springsteen fictional feature?
You know what? If it's anything like the documentary that I just saw that's going to come out on Hulu in a few weeks, that biopic is going to be the snooziest biopic ever. Because,
I was going to say, you didn't really tell me anything in there that was like, yeah, there's this and that they could probably make a movie out of.
The only here's an example. I mean, little Stevie and him, they didn't see eye to eye, and he kind of stepped away for a while. And that could have been an interesting thing in the movie where they really focus on it. You think it never even happened. And I think that's part of the issue that I have, that I don't believe that for 50 years so many people have been working together and nobody ever argued about anything, and it's all like kumbaya in a rock band, no matter how positive they are. And I really felt that there was something in this movie that didn't want me to see anything that wasn't the most positive thing ever. And it's fine, but if you're watching a documentary and you really want to learn the behind the scenes, it's not really convincing. And if they use that model to do this narrative one, it's going to be the Hallmark Channel of biopics.
Well, I can see where, here's the thing though. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Price, as far as like bands not getting along, but that depends on if the band is made up of people that are very headstrong and want to have a say in something, or if there's something like, I'd say maybe the E Street Band, where they're basically just a hired band.
Yeah.
Right? Because like the show is Bruce Springsteen. Yeah.
Like Max Weinberg, when he's on his own, he does not stop drumming, and it's annoying as hell. But when he's working with the boss, with Bruce Springsteen, he's actually like good.
And they call him the boss.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, obviously they're the E Street Band, and it's a hired gun and whatever you want to call it. But they've been working together for many years, and supposedly
I get it. But at that point, he's the boss, right? So there is no real fucking arguments there. It's not like Pink Floyd where you got conflicting fucking visions for the band or something like that.
I would have liked, the movie is structured in a way that it kind of jumps back and forth and really gives very, very, it doesn't dig deep into stories or ideas. I think that there was an interesting movie to be made here, and the final product for me is too on the surface and doesn't feel authentic to me. And if they're going to do the same thing with the biopic, it's not going to be a good biopic. That's my 2 cents.
I mean, I guess that's where I'm just coming from is like, yeah, is there anything worthwhile in this guy's life? And I mean, somebody who knows music is Nick, and I don't know how much of a Springsteen fan you are, but
Of a what fan?
Springsteen fan.
Even if you honestly, I didn't know about Springsteen's views as far as politics are concerned.
Views
for a
We're just
long
talking
You
about-
still
time.
think his
Sorry.
music sucks?
I was just kind of like, eh. I don't really like it, but I don't really hate it. It's just kind of like, eh. I mean, it's the same way I feel about when I hear Iron Man from Black Sabbath for the millionth time. Eh, who cares? So I never really care. So now him as a personality, I cannot stand.
I mean, some of his music is fine, but other of his music just kind of reminds me of the type of way that people react to shit like Nickelback.
I'll tell you what I think. On a musical level, I have respect for him. He's been around for many years doing his thing. And
Yeah.
the other thing is that, maybe it was at least 10 years ago. I have a good friend of mine. He called me one day and said, listen, it's the best thing ever. I have 2 tickets for Springsteen. I have 1 extra one and you're coming with me to the show. And I said, no, go find somebody that really is into that and give them the ticket. I'll stay at home. It's fine. He's like, no, you have to go with me to see this show. So I ended up going to see Bruce Springsteen. And I have to admit that the show was really well produced. He knows how to perform. The band was really tight, working
I've never
together.
heard bad things about that part. I'm just talking about the corporate kind of sound that he has.
It's very, like I said, I enjoyed the show.
Journey or Jovi. That's what I was gonna say. He's just gonna put him in that category, but yeah.
No, I want to answer that in a second, but basically what I'm trying to say is that I had a lot of respect after I saw him perform, but it didn't make me want to listen to all of his albums. It didn't want to make me go to any other shows of his. It's like, I respect the guy, and there's a few hits that, are part of me growing up that I know them, and I'm okay with what he did there, but there's nothing overly edgy about what he does. And as far as Journey and Jovi goes, I don't think there's anything too edgy about Bon Jovi either, with the exception of Shot Through the Heart, Wanted Dead or Alive, and Living on a Prayer, which is mainly nostalgia. I don't know that I can really dig up. He sings all right, but how many songs does he have that aren't kind of mediocre? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you the thing with Bruce Springsteen is basically this: his young early days were his good shit, right? And then as soon as he got pretentious and just started making really kind of artsy fartsy kind of music that everybody just gagas over, that's when he started to suck. Right? Let's be real. Streets of Philadelphia is okay, but then once you get to the one he did for fucking Jerry Maguire, the only good version of that's the one with the scenes from the movie in it. Otherwise the song sucks.
Streets of Philadelphia is probably the last song that he did that was
That's what I'm saying.
That's probably the last thing he did that was even worth mentioning.
And even that's pretty kind of simple.
Yeah, it's not anything that I think about on a regular basis. It's an okay song. It does whatever it does. It suits his style. By the way, out of the 3, I think the Journey.
Edgy. I like that.
Safe edge.
It's like the safety pin. It's the safety edge.
Go ahead,
but I will say the Journey, out of the 3, at least they have a really interesting singer. I feel like Steve Perry
not anymore.
Well, not now. I think they found a kid in the Philippines or something. I don't really know, but I know
they just
that
found a Korean equivalent, basically, or whatever. Yeah,
something like that. Very strange what they did there. But Steve Perry, that guy was the real deal. I mean, I think he has a great voice, and I don't listen to Journey all the time, and I don't love all their music, but I think Steve Perry stands above many other singers of his time, and I think he's a good singer, so at least I give him that credit. But honestly, it's not like I sit around and listen to either of those bands on a regular basis.
And Sean, who's a big Jovi fan in the chat, how you doing, Sean? Been on the channel a couple times. Yeah, I gotta agree with this. Jovi, thing that Jovi, where he's smart, is he didn't shoot above his station. Once he realized, oh shit, I can't act, I'm gonna quit doing that. And once he realized, oh, my music isn't really hitting with the kids anymore, maybe I should kind of transition to country western, which is kind of more where his fan base was. He was smart about it. So I can't knock him for that. So far he's doing just fine with his career as far as I know. But anyway, let's get back into this article. All the success, let's get back into this. Shots as well as noting. Bruce Springsteen featured, and then Send Help, which is Sam Raimi, which sounds like it's probably your typical Sam Raimi horror film, I'd imagine. Next year, it will release a comedy from James L. Brooks and Rami Malek, spy thriller, amateur. More projects will get underway in the summer. Too bad James L. Brooks isn't as cool as he used to be. Even the offices are lively. What was that?
He's comfortable. He's no longer hungry. So
I was gonna say, speaking of the song with the, or no, that wasn't him. He didn't have anything to do with Jerry Maguire, did he?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. He did the As Good as It Gets one though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one I really like. Even the offices are lively these days with the life-size Planet of the Apes simian adorned with cool shades greeting visitors, handsome wooden glass case being built to house the division's many historical Oscars. With Alien wrapping up its theatrical run in October and Springsteen close to starting production, Asbel, who oversees 9 production executives along with their support teams, is catching his breath, if only for a moment. But he sat down with the Hollywood Reporter to discuss balancing streaming and theatrical originals and 2 established IP, and spilled more than he should about 2, yes, we said 2 Predator movies coming next year. Oh boy. Do we have to really read all this, man?
No. No, you don't have to read all
Let's just
that.
look for the good shit. Okay. Where's right now it's looking like next year half the slate. Job 1 was figuring out these franchise movies first and coming up with the right cadence of Avatar, Apes, Alien, and Predator specifically. So that's what they obviously figure is the 20th Century Fox Mount Rushmore of franchises right there, I guess.
Yeah. So they're looking at 50-50. So 50 existing IPs and maybe 50 originals. Like not physically as number, but percentage-wise.
Right. Okay, we know when the Avatar movies are coming. We know about Predator. There'll be another Apes in 27. Let's just say so. Knowing we can plan those franchises, it helps us look and see and ask what kind of original movies in terms of genre do we want to test the market with. Well, that is actually kind of decent that he's looking at it as we need to use Fox as this platform for original material, a little bit more adult oriented, you know. That I can't knock him for. Then he talks about streaming. Alien Romulus was supposed to go to streaming, but then that changed. Who cares? What's the next step for Alien? We know the show. And then, is this where he dumps? There's working on an Alien versus Predator project. I don't see it in there. Free Guy 2, not yet. Kingsman sequels, prequels, no plans. Agatha Christie. More, yes, we have. And then there were none. And so really? I haven't even heard about this. We have Witness for Prosecution. We're doing Miss Marple. There's a bunch of other titles that we're working on. We have a very close relationship with the estate. Okay. But are we going to be doing more of the, good ones? Master Commander prequel. We're trying hard. Die Hard plans, not yet. Thank God that's dead. Because that means the one that they were working on is done. When will the next Predator movie get a theatrical release? 2025 for Badlands. Will be theatrical. We're going to do Prey 2 as well. So they're doing Prey 2 as well. But where did he tease a AVP movie? Because I saw that somewhere. So there's a secret one that comes out before the theatrical one, but I can't say anything about it yet. That's got to be Prey 2.
Well, he's saying no. It was Alien vs Predator, and his response was probably.
Oh, okay, that's why.
You have to keep reading down further, yeah.
Okay, there it is. Okay, you're right. It wouldn't be in the way you think. That's the thing. Not in the way that it will just be called Alien versus Predator or anything like the original movies. If we do this, they'll be organically created out of the 2 franchises that we've continued with characters that we will fall in love with, blah, blah, blah. So that means they've already got it in the planning, yeah. And then at a 30th anniversary screening of Speed a few weeks ago, Sandra Bullock said Hollywood may not be brave enough for a Speed 3 response. Hollywood is brave enough. We are brave enough. We are sitting by the phone. It is one of those last movies that we haven't remade, and to really be a reason to come back, it's got to be a great idea and an idea that excites Bullock and Keanu Reeves, because that'd be the reason to see it. It's obviously a really important title for us, but it's not something we would handle lightly or just try to pass.
I guess that means that Jason Patrick is out.
Yeah. Well, in other words, Speed 3 is not very likely.
But if they made it, what would they do? They'd pretend that Speed 2 never happened?
Wasn't he playing a different character in Speed 2? It's not
it was Sandra Bullock broke up with Keanu Reeves' character.
And a totally different cop, yeah.
What got proposed to by a different cop. But I don't know if they got married.
I couldn't stand that. That, first of all, I didn't even see the movie in the theater because Keanu Reeves wasn't in it, and I knew it would be a stinker. But later, some other time in the future, that I saw that, and that they tried to bullshit their way out of it, unacceptable.
So, Nick, you've been quiet since you got here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, Tom. I got a little bit of a limited stay tonight, but happy to be here. And it seems like the world is full of even more sequels. I know Billy Corgan once said the world is a vampire. Actually, make the argument the world is a sequel.
Well, it is technically a vampire sucking off the blood of long dead
That's
franchises.
True. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. By your logic, yeah, that's absolutely accurate. But yeah, I love Speed. That's one of my favorite Keanu Reeves movies. One of those great Die Hard rip-off movies. Because it is a Die Hard movie. It's Die Hard on it, but thank you.
See, he's one of the few people who understands that when I came up with that rating, and I had to throw it away because nobody understood it, and they just made fun of me for it.
Well, Die Hard, to me, there's action genres, and then there's the Die Hard genre. And since
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and
so
it's
Speed
a great
gets
Die Hard movie.
4 out of 5 Die Hards.
Yes. For me, I'm going to go 4.5 out of 5 Die Hards. But
that's fine. But I mean,
but at least
and people are like, how do you gauge that? I'm like, well, see, Die Hard is 5 out of 5 Die Hards.
Yeah.
So you just go from there. How much like Die Hard is it, and how good is it? So if it's like, what's one of the shittier ones? Throw me one.
Speed 2. Easy.
Speed 2. There you go. So Speed 2 gets like one out of 5 Die Hards.
That was a Good Day to Die Hard of the franchise.
See, now Good Day to Die Hard only gets a 1.
Yes.
Good Day to Die Hard is such a disgrace.
Dude.
It's so hard
then
for me to
Die Hard with a Vengeance that somehow gets 6 out of 5 Die Hards. I don't know how that works, but it just does.
I love, and that's the thing, because I see Massacre mentioned speaking of dumb press and execution. That's the beauty of a lot of those movies in the 80s and early 90s. A lot of them sound like paper thin ideas because they are, but it's the fun that they have with those ideas that counts. Sometimes simpler hits harder and it's a bit more effective. And
it works
because
Die Hard is one of those few franchises inside the action genre where they literally just ripped that off over and over and over again.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to think of another time where that happened besides maybe
Die Hard 2 ripped off Die Hard 1 by being Die Hard.
Well, no. Yeah, but I know, but it became its own subgenre because of it. That's what I'm saying. Like I think the last time would probably be Kung Fu. Maybe kind of in action films, like where you had the Kung Fu kind of offshoot of action where Chuck Norris and all that Bruce Lee kind of stuff. Anybody else can think of something better, please. But I'm trying to think. Otherwise, the more newer one would be a comic book.
Like Chuck Norris and his Delta Force series, which I thought was funny because it's like, oh, you got this great martial arts expert, but you just keep on giving him guns to shoot people with. It's like
that's more in like the Rambo line, but yeah.
That's it. Because I'm trying to think of like how many strictly martial arts films of Chuck Norris are there really?
That's true. You're right. Because Rambo that did start its own subgenre as well at the same time.
Well, technically, First Blood Part 2 started because the first Rambo is nothing like the rest of them.
True. Well, that's why I usually say Rambo, but yeah. Because I call the first one First Blood.
First one is First Blood, and then it's Rambo after that.
Oh, it absolutely is that.
Yeah, that's when he becomes Rambo TM.
Rambo TM. I like that.
I mean,
I
no,
love
like
the sequels,
yeah.
even though they're stupid. 2 and 3 are
Yeah,
stupid,
oh, yeah.
but they're fun. But I love how stupid they are. I treasure them, and of course, now the fourth movie can make a good argument for that. That definitely has a lot more story to it. Not quite up to the par of the first one, but you can tell there was a bit of a deeper theme, at least with that one. So, and then you became a Rambo 2 and 3 after the story idea was laid out for Rambo 4.
Yeah. Are you trying to hit everybody, McLean?
Rambo
No?
5 is the
Maybe that
the
mine.
least Rambo-y out of all those.
Yeah, it was more like a hybrid of Rambo and First Blood, basically, is what it was.
It was all right. I know some people hated it. I just was
Oh, are you
happy
talking
to
about the Last Blood one? Or are you talking about
Yeah,
Rambo
the Last
4?
Blood one. I know everybody hates it. I didn't hate it, but
Oh, I
it's
didn't hate
definitely
Last Blood.
I like
What'd you s-
Last Blood.
it's not as good as Rambo 4 or even
I
any of
agree.
the other ones, but I still didn't walk out hating it. I'm just like, all right, well,
I liked it more than I did the Rambo 3.
Rambo 3, you know, he was at least he's like in good shape and younger, although there's stuff that happens in that movie that is just
Rambo
bonkers,
3 is
ridiculous,
just
and
as
dumb.
bloated as his muscles are. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
everything
some
in
stupid
Rambo
things.
3 is big. His hair is big. The knife is big. His muscles are big.
It's
The
great.
explosions are big. The budget is big.
Right,
The
everything
running
is
time is
over-
big.
Yeah.
Everything is big now, as it should be. Those
The only
types
thing
of
that
movies,
isn't bigger is his waist. That's the only thing that seemed to get smaller, but that was just because
Yeah,
the rest
right?
of them got bigger. Like,
Rambo 3 has that ending that him and the, Colonel just
Jahadeen guy are just sitting there, yeah.
No, but first of all, they're just like, there's the entire Russian army, and they're just like, let's take them. Like, and they're two people.
one of my
Yeah, he
favorite
blows them all up.
lines of Rambo dialogue is in the third movie when the guy's like, "What's that? A blue light? What's it do? It turns blue."
Turns
And that's
blue.
it. Like, it's a blue light. What does it do? It turns
We
blue.
to win this time.
Which is the
Well,
one
that's
that he
up to you,
gets
though.
shot, and then he blows up his stomach in order to conceal the wound or something?
That had to was that number 5?
I thought that was
That
number
was not
3.
the
That,
fourth.
that
Was
he
it
like
number
puts
3?
gunpowder in his stomach, and then
No,
he goes like
that's-
poof, and the
That's 3. That's 3. I think.
Oh, you know what? You're right. It is 3. You're right. I remember now.
that was a
He gets an
stretch.
arrow,
I
yeah.
mean, listen, I can suspend a lot of disbelief, but I remember even as a kid watching that and chuckling.
He
I
even does
love
the
that.
little
It's
real quick tough man like thing, yeah. I'm not even gonna shed a tear.
I love
Fuck
3.
that. We'd be like passed out and shit if we did that to ourselves. We wake up in our fucking pool of sweat, half dead and shit.
Oh, I
Because we
want to
passed out and
rewatch.
pissed ourselves.
I love Rambo 3 so much. It's the
That would have been
dumbest
reality
shit
Rainbow
ever.
wake up and be like, oh shit, I pissed myself.
Yeah.
At least I'm
Oh.
still alive. So
He
yeah.
should have left it at 4 movies. I mean, granted, I didn't mind the 5th one. I actually kind of liked it even. But 4 was a really strong note to like leave it at. Like especially
yeah, I
even with the
agree
way
to
it
a point.
ended. It was a strong sequel. It was a really strong sequel.
The only thing
I
kind of
love
wrong with
4.
part 5 is he should have kind of died at the end. I hate to say it, because that way you kind of put an ending to it, right?
I feel like
yeah.
he was supposed to, and then he changed the
I
ending
think
or something.
so. I think so. I think he's supposed to die in the chair. Yeah. No, I didn't hate for Last Blood, but that being said, so what does anybody really care about Predator and Alien as a whole? Like, Predator's fine. Like, that's always been
I'm
kind of
sick
more
of this
a
already.
niche.
I think I don't want to see any of these movies anymore. I feel
But
like I've seen
Alien
enough.
has been so fucking
all over the place.
segregated now with the fan base. Here we are
Uh-huh.
again now with like a third segregation of the fan base.
I can't believe they're making a sequel to Romulus. Romulus blew. Like I don't know who enjoyed Romulus. I saw
Oh,
that
people
movie and I was
did.
bored. I saw it in the theater and I was bored.
You know, I lost my train of thought. Damn it. Keep talking. Maybe I'll come back together.
I was saying that Alien Romulus sucked,
Yeah.
and
okay.
and it for the most of the movie, I thought it was boring and annoying, and it had all of that like, why don't we have like dumb teenagers here? Or why don't we not have dumb teenagers? Why does every movie have to have dumb teenagers in it? This was not a movie where it was like a dumb teenager thing. Why don't you have regular people in it? But no, dumb teenagers.
Well, and I didn't see it, but it did sound like there was a better story buried in there but granted, we never get the.
I
better
didn't
story.
see Prey. Now, opinions from what I've gathered, from different points of view, people who understand those genres or people who just kind of view it casually. People who view it, who I've talked to, I guess they say more casual viewers seem to kind of like it, not like be like over the moon about it. And then I look at people in our sphere. It seems it's a little bit more mixed. You had people like Mueller who were actually who kind of liked Prey, and you had some people who were kind of like, eh. But even then, I still noticed one thing about that. The common thread between it, there wasn't really any major buzz about it. Like people were talking about it. So even if it were to be polarizingly bad or even amazing, it didn't have a major buzz around it.
They put it on Hulu.
was-
I think they dumped it on Hulu. I don't even think it went to the
Prey
theater.
was a big mistake. They should have. That was the one they should have put in theaters.
Yeah.
Right.
I haven't even seen it yet, but it actually got really good buzz, and it sold really well on 4K to the point where that's one of the reasons why I haven't seen it
they
yet.
moved it to physical media?
Yeah, they actually put it on physical media, but they all sold. They put it. It was kind of limited, so like it's hard to find the 4K anymore.
I think that
So
the
it's
movie
probably worth
Prey,
a lot because it's limited.
Yeah, it's
the
a little
thing
bit more
with Prey
expensive.
is that based on the trailers, I thought it would be an embarrassing disaster, and when I saw it, I thought it was kind of okay. I didn't think it was the best thing I'd ever seen, but I thought that it was better than I thought it would be, and it was at least watchable, even though it still had the same thing of like dumb teens and girl boss and whatever. Even with all of that, it wasn't the end of the world. But really, why do I need all this shit? Well, I don't want to see dumb teens and everything.
No,
Well,
Fuck
what's
that.
stupid is Predator
is-
didn't even become about girl bosses until AVP.
Now, granted, I'm just going off of what people
I'll take that
said.
AVP girl
I-
boss over the 16-year-old,
AVP
15-year-old
sucked.
Native American girl in the jungle. But that's just
I've
me.
heard the girl in Prey wasn't a girl boss. Now, once again, I didn't see it. Just going off of and I'm talking about people in our
But
sphere.
that's pretty
have
bad
said
if
that.
most of us haven't fucking seen it.
No, I saw it, and I think
But judge about the ones who have.
Listen,
people in our
I'm going to
sphere
say this, and
said,
I won't spoil anything for anybody that may want to watch it. But there was something that how does the whole thing start in Prey? First of all, it's like it's happening hundreds of years ago or whatever it is.
Okay.
And then what happens is that there's a girl, and there's like her brother. The brother is like the Mr. Warrior guy, and she's just like, oh, you're a girl, go, fetch plants, or I don't know what they tell her. But she wants to be like a warrior, so she has to keep showing that she's badass and whatever. And by the end of the movie, of course, she's really badass. So to say that she's not a girl boss, I don't think so. I think that that's the one thing that did jump out at me at the movie. Even with that being said, somehow it's not terrible. There's issues with the movie. It's not flawless, but for whatever it's supposed to be, I was able to watch it, and I didn't get overly annoyed. I thought that it was halfway decent or pretty okay, but which is a lot more than some other movies that come out. So it wasn't a disaster, but I wouldn't shower it with praise either.
Well, one thing you can give for praise that they didn't make her an easy girl boss. Like they actually had her fail a number of times.
Okay, I'll give you that script.
Well, then that kind of off the bat
semi
kinda
girl
makes
boss.
it-
Well, I will say this. Like there's some scenes where it's like there's no way she could have figured that out. And that's
So
where
would you call that plot convenience, or would you call
that
that
would be the
girl
writer's
boss?
hand just trying to get to the next plot point? Yeah.
No,
sure.
but I
Okay.
accept what you're saying. It
Yeah.
could have been worse in that sense. It wasn't the full-on girl boss. It was like a semi-girl boss. That I'll accept. If there's ever a movie that'll accept semi-girl boss, that's what that little girl was. But in any case, I don't want to see little girls. I mean, you know what I'm saying. I don't care if it's like if you
Yes.
make a movie for little girls, put little girls in it. But if I'm supposed to be a dude watching this movie seriously and it's sort of a Predator thing, we started off with like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the jungle with like Carl Weathers, and all those people had like muscles. It looked like they're gonna explode those muscles. Like they were all like big and like muscular and like very masculine. And then like you have this little girl who weighs like 1 pound and whatever. I don't know, man. What am I gonna do? I mean, I know I sound kind of like a jerk, but it's go make like a My Little Pony movie and bring little girls and put them in there. I don't know why that movie.
Valid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type of muscly person needs to be in My Little Pony. You want to make My Little Pony, bring little
I
girls
agree.
into it.
I strongly agree with that sentiment.
But friendship is magic. Don't you get it?
Come on.
Now I want Tom to like voice like an animated cartoon of Schwarzenegger and a My Little Pony.
Pony. I have little
Pony.
ponies at home. Yeah. He does. He actually does have. Well, he has one. He's got one little donkey and one little pony, I think, that live in his house. You ever seen the videos?
No.
I'm serious. Yeah, he does. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got a little pony and a little donkey or a little miniature horse or whatever they are. Yeah. SFX Sabretooth Raptor says, sent an email to you, Tom. The Flying Dutchman ship will also showed it to comics later in the show, or later show. Comics show later. Interested in Script's thoughts? Well, let me bring that up here. Just give me a second. Let's see here what we got. All right. Share the screen. Ba-boom. We got the Flying Dutchman. Look at that. Jolly Roger and all. Look at all those Jolly Rogers.
Oh.
Like crossbones. I like that. That's kind of cool. I kind of had an idea for a ship kind of like that. Only the middle was more of like a skull shape to go with the crossbones. Where when you looked at it front head on, it looked like, you know.
It's like a modified Constellation class with some extra stuff. Cool.
So there you go.
Hmm.
Thank you for that, Sabretooth. And then we got Sergeant Point Blank who says, I find it interesting how Die Hard 3 was the #1 box office movie that summer and was R-rated, but the sequel get a PG-13 and didn't do as well. Yeah. That was in that strange period where they decided they wanted to do that shit for some reason.
They thought they were going to make more money with a PG-13 Die Hard than a rated R1.
And it wasn't just Die Hard. There was a few franchises they did.
There's a couple others that they did that, because Live Free or Die Hard was not like a bad Die Hard movie. It felt like they were just restrained a little bit more than what they could have actually done.
It's a little too over the top because of that. So there's like these over the top action sequences that don't seem to have the damage or the consequences.
It's like the Fast and Furious of Die Hard movies.
Yes. That's a
He's
good
like with the bus. It's like, oh, don't worry, like the bus will
Like
go off the bridge and I'll jump on it.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
the airplane part where they crash the airplane into the bridge part, or the embankment or whatever the hell it is.
No, he drives a cop car into a helicopter.
Well, that's what it is. Thank you. Yeah, whatever it was there. But he's also on the plane in that one too, isn't he? Like on top of a plane.
There's a lot of stuff. It's too cartoonish.
There's a lot
really.
of shit where I'm just like, how the dude's like 20 years older than the last time we fucking see him, and yet he's doing all this crazy shit. That was kind of the joke in the last one.
I think the plane was in the one with his son, though.
Is it?
Because I don't remember a plane in the first one. Because he's driving from like New Jersey to New York.
No. Like he's on like that. Is that which one is it where they have that fucking plane that can like take off without a runway and shit? Is that one? I thought.
No, I don't remember that.
Maybe I'm mixing it up with something else then. I've only seen Live Free or Die Hard like twice. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. I like Timothy Oliphant in it. I like the premise, but like you guys said, it.
Oh yeah, he was in that. I remember now.
Like, and so was Kevin fucking Smith.
And he doesn't say yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
He does, but they bleeped it out. Yeah,
that doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, it didn't feel right either.
It's so
like,
weird.
Mother bang. Yeah.
It's really weird that even though I found the fourth one okay, somehow I liked it better than 5. And 4 was the one with the PG-13 rating, and 5 was the R.
4 was better than 5.
Bad.
Yeah.
Well, 5 was, and Script will probably back me up on this one. 5 is a script that was going around for years. And it was one of the few times they actually had a Die Hard movie that was written as a Die Hard movie. And that should have told you something, that they kept not doing it. Because it's like, it was always this thing where it was him in fucking Russia. And it was like, nobody wants to see him leave the U.S., right? Like, that's not, that's where I got to give Eddie Murphy credit. That was one thing where he always nixed it, because they kept constantly trying to take Eddie Murphy over to London or France. And it's like, no, Beverly Hills is where I want to be, because that's where it's supposed to be. It's called Beverly Hills Cop, not French Cop. Not,
right.
And Die Hard needs to be in either New York or L.A., right? Well, like, I can accept either one. Yeah.
The premise of Die Hard is that he's restricted to a location. And the only movie that did it really well, that didn't do that restriction was with a vengeance, because it was basically like, you're in Manhattan, you're stuck in Manhattan.
Well, the restriction is he's being boxed in by the games.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's the restriction, yeah.
Yeah. There's
And he tells him what he can and cannot do to travel and stuff like that, yeah.
Like Live Free and Die Hard, he's not boxed into anything other than it's like, get this guy from point A to point B to stop this hacker, or like, yeah, because all these hackers are being executed, so get him just from point A to point B. And then the Russia one, I couldn't make heads or tails of what that was. Like, his
don't even know if
son
I
was
finished
too
that
old,
one.
too giant, and I just, it was all ass backwards.
Yeah, I didn't even finish watching that one, I don't think.
Because that's what Jai Courtney in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he shouldn't be acting.
Well, and I don't see him as Bruce Willis's kid either. And not only that, why is Bruce Willis's kid in it?
Well,
Lucy was okay when they had
Willis's
her.
kid.
It was okay when they had Lucy in the first one, and then they turned, or not the first one, but the Live Free or Die. Because that's really what I feel like is like, there's the first three, then there's Live Free or Die Hard, which is kind of like a reboot-quel. And then part 5 is a sequel to that didn't, and then it's just done because it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because they have the same chick playing Lucy in that one too.
Yep.
And I'm just like, she was fine in the last one, but other than that, you didn't need her. You didn't need any of these other characters. You don't need to do this connection with the kids, because that was another one of the scripts for a while too, was like her getting kidnapped and shit. Or was that part of Live Free or Die Hard?
That, well, she gets kidnapped and Live Free or Die Hard.
That's what I thought.
Only
okay,
when they
yeah.
find out who John McClane is, and they're like, well, we just got to get him to back off. Where, the first Die Hard is, oh, well, his wife is kidnapped and he's a cop, so he's definitely held hostage, so he definitely wants to save her. His wife is now stranded in a plane in Die Hard 2. Third one, she's back in LA and he's in New York, and they're just having irreconcilable differences.
They're estranged, yeah.
This one here, it's they do set it up with like, it's a father-daughter story where the daughter is like trying to distance herself from a dad that still cares about her, but has put his job before his family every time, and now he's got to learn to put his family before his job. And the fifth one had no. The
son hates. Okay, yeah, this is the other stupid thing, because isn't his son a cop too?
He's a spy.
Oh, he's a spy. It's like, okay, so you're even worse than your dad, really, if you think about it.
Yep.
But anyway, and I'm just glad that this new one is not happening, because for those who don't remember what this one was supposed to be, this was supposed to be a prequel to John McClane's first case as a detective, and it was supposed to originally have wraparounds with old John McClane, but that was before Bruce Willis got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to recast a young, and I'm like, why? It would be boring. That's the whole point, is that John McClane lived this mundane detective life in New York.
We know it was relatively mundane, but not so much that the captain wasn't upset with him doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing to get his perps.
In the third film, maybe, but
no, in the first one, because he says, like, cops, you have rules, you play by rules. Like, yeah, that's my captain tells me, and then
that's true. You're right. Yeah. So yeah, maybe he's a little bit of a dirty Harry, but he can't be like a super cop, because that's kind of the point.
He can't be McClane in Die Hard. Like, that's the thing.
Because that's what elevates him to that. That's the whole thing. Because he's kind of a schlub, and then it's, and then it pushes him to being the super cop. Yeah. He just happens to be streetwise New York detective. I mean, yeah, that'd be interesting maybe for a TV show, but what's the most he going to do? Investigate some drug busts or a couple of murders, maybe?
You know what I wanted as a final movie, which we'll never get, instead of that crappy fifth one, that they have like I think other people have thought of this idea, but like the anniversary of Nakatomi Plaza or something like that, they're honoring him with an award or some nonsense like that, and he invites his friends, and you suddenly see Samuel L. Jackson, you see Reginald VelJohnson, you see like the people that are cool in the franchise, and something happens, maybe like I know how dumb this would sound, but somebody that wants
that's about the only way you could do it, though. I agree.
The son of Hans Gruber, whatever it is, it sounds annoying, but you know what? If you just wanted some like nostalgia and you would have done it decently, then now they're stuck in a situation where there's like another, kind of mirroring the first thing somebody taking his vengeance on him, and now he has to team up with his friends and somehow get out of it. It wouldn't have been maybe fantastic, but I would have preferred that over that Russia one with that Good Day
That's
to
probably
Die
the
Hard.
best you could have done. I agree with
No,
you there.
you could do better than that, because I had one that
Yeah.
I was pitching around, which
Oh,
was it was Lucy McLean's wedding. She was not marrying the Justin
Oh.
Long character, but it was at a hotel. It's based off a real hotel that actually used to be a bank, and it had the most impenetrable vault in it. And the whole idea is that at the reception, criminal enterprise is trying to rob everything in the bank, and they lock it down the building. And McLean there, who is, father of the bride, and has to, rescue all the hostages inside and stop the bank robbery. And you can bring in Reginald Val Johnson in there as well because he's also would be a friend of the family, a guest at the wedding. You can bring in those characters, but it's a brand new bad guy. But it's now, instead of them trapped in Nakatomi, you're trapped again in. Basically just cover those things up there, and you have
they're
the
not
family
gonna
together.
They
Yeah.
can't do any of that shit now, unfortunately.
No, they can't.
But what you can do is a prequel series or something like that. But you can only do it as a series, not a movie. And I guess the only clever thing you could do is just show how John McClane is actually really good at investigating like thefts, because that would make sense as to how he clicks and figures all the shit out that Hans is up to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, these guys aren't terrorists. This is just nothing but a big fucking ruse to steal, right? So like that, maybe he's like really good at sniffing out con men or some kind of like, really complicated.
I would rather do like a follow-up, like a series right after the first Die Hard. McClane's in LA and he's learning LA with the Reginald Van Johnson character, and that's their story there. Because
but at that point, I don't want to see a recast John McClane either. So yeah.
Well, I mean, absolutely, like that's the big hang up, right? Is you can't do a prequel to any Die Hard without having to recast at this point, and it's better just to let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah. No, I hear you there. I agree. Because, no. And I mean, really, the lost opportunity we had here, and I think we all can agree, and they should have done it. I don't know how they didn't. Like, I don't know why Fox didn't see the money in front of their face when all you had to do was a TV show of the detectives that are all the people that are around John McClane and Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah.
I love all those fucking cops.
They were great.
All you gotta have
the fire
is
marshal. Yeah.
Yeah. And the fire marshal guy. Yeah. Like the Colleen Camp and the other guys and the chief guy, like
The
those
bomb
guys.
expert.
Yeah. And you could just have it that John McClane's either suspended or he's out in LA or he's doing whatever. And you could have maybe even cameos with him at one point or another. But regardless, it's you don't need him to have that show work because those characters work so well on their own without him.
Yeah.
So
They all had
I
very
just thought
big
that was a lost
personalities.
opportunity.
They were great. Yeah.
You do that again, I'm gonna shove that chair up your ass. I know it's some really cool stuff. Yeah, I like them guys. I was like, oh man, why don't they make a TV show out of these guys? That's what I was thinking after I saw that. Action Com says Uncommon Valor started the Rambo genre. Most recent is the Rage genre. The movie Dread belongs to that one. Okay, I can see what you're saying there, but see, I know everybody always brings up Uncommon Valor when it comes into contact with like Rambo and stuff like that. I have not seen it in years, so I can't comment.
That's Gene Hackman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know box office wise and as far as like how it impacted pop culture, not nearly the same as Rambo, but yeah. But yeah, oh, you usually have that though too. Like Psycho is always kind of the one that people bring up for the slasher, for beginning the slasher films. But there was like 2 or 3 films before that did a lot of the same things Psycho did, but just Hitchcock was the most well known and put them all together, right? So, and then just created a whole new genre out of horror subgenre. But yeah, we're all caught up on the super chats there, and I didn't really have any other major stories tonight. There wasn't a whole lot of news going on. I don't know what you guys wanted to talk about otherwise. If there was something that you had seen or something going on that you guys had done a video for recently that you thought was an interesting topic.
Well, we already covered the Blade topic really, really well a few days ago. It seems like that's still getting a lot of chatter. I mean, to be fair, it's significant because that was 5 years of that, and it's just like, well, here we freaking are. I haven't heard anyone talk about if they saw the Venom sequel yet. I'm waiting to hear what people say. But
I've been hearing a lot of bad things about it. That's about
You
it.
know
yeah.
what? But already in its first day in China or something, it made a bunch of money, so it looks like
So
it's
did the
going to do well
last
in
two
China.
Oh yeah, they do very well overseas.
Chinese
Venom is
love
the new
Venom for some reason. I don't know
Venom
what
is
it
the new Transformers of overseas markets. Venom movies
Right.
do
So
very
even
well.
even if it just does okay in the US, they're probably not going to lose money, I think.
Oh
you
no,
might
Sony's
be right with
Well,
that.
the Chinese take way more than 50% of the profits of the box office, so maybe.
I mean, I'm not saying it's going to make $1 billion, but I'm saying that maybe it at least won't be a loss. It's not going to be like the Joker 2, I think.
No.
Is it because of all the fucking tentacle shit? Is that why they like that shit over there? I don't get it.
They like
I
slime
think-
monsters, yeah.
I was gonna say
They
they
kind
like,
of-
they like big creatures that act retarded.
I think they eat a lot of creatures that look like that, so
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't. Yeah, because the first two did very, very well over there too.
he looks like, a kind of not I look like a calamari, but I guess he looks like an octopus of sorts, or I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I haven't heard anything good yet about it. I was thinking about going to see it, but I got to see Terrifier 3 first anyway. Yeah, I know, Daryl. That's what I was thinking. That's more Japan. That's why I'm trying to figure out the whole obsession with it over there. It's a black monster. That's why. Okay, I guess.
Well, I know they're lifting from a recent comic loosely for the new threequel. It's a character that was created in the I think like 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, good.
And they're using that character, which I know I'm gonna be fair here. Apparently, it's a character that went over fairly well for the people who did like it. So that said, though, I don't know how they're gonna bring in a let's just say galactic threat, and this is supposed to be the final Venom movie, which we all know it's not. We all know it's not, but are they gonna use this movie as a way of introducing this character to bring him into the MCU? I don't know, because if they're gonna bring in a big galactic threat, and Venom's usually not a galactic type of character,
he's too much of a
feels very
hero now
uneven.
to be a villain.
It's too uneven.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say I think this is
Go
gonna
for
be
it.
the last one, at least for a while, because I thought I had seen somewhere where this is tracking lower than Joker.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too.
And if that's the case, then my theory about comic book movies being done is correct. Like, people are not, even movies like this where the second movie wasn't as well received, but it wasn't like out and out hated.
yeah.
Like it was just kind of there. It just came and went. And
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
film did almost $1 billion fucking dollars.
Well,
If this
as
movie
I
takes
said-
a dump like that, then Sony's not going to take another chance on one of these. And we already know Craven's going to hit a brick wall. Tom Rothman's going to be like, no more of these fucking comic
Sell
book
it to
movies
Disney.
for a while.
Just
Give
sell
the
it
shit to Disney. Exactly, yeah. He'll only let Disney produce Spider-Man movies going forward, I bet. I don't think they'll end up selling it necessarily yet, but
No, they'll milk Disney as much as they can until they realize that they can't get any more, and then they'll sell it.
maybe, yeah.
It's just as
It's already tracking lower than Black Adam domestically, says Korekioki. That's not good.
Deadpool and Wolverine was the anomaly. It was something that people had initially wanted to see for a while. They wanted to have Deadpool and Wolverine together in a movie. And on top of it, it was the love letter, aka farewell send off to the Foxmen and that whole particular universe. So of course that did well. Most of us thought that was going to hit $1 billion. Most of us, I know some were not so sure that number. I know I was in the camp of that it would, but yeah, and that was just that movie. That
Spider-Man 4
gone are the
already started
days.
production?
Yep.
What?
Wow.
Oh boy. Okay.
I know I heard they got the deal together, but I didn't know they were starting.
Yeah, I heard about that part. Okay, that's big if that's the
I'm
case.
pretty sure they're trying to get Spider-Man out as one of the
They're
possibles
gonna rush this fucker again too.
for out of next year. Yeah.
Hold on.
That's
what?
not necessarily
Next
a bad
year?
thing then.
No.
I mean,
If it's not late next year,
know.
if it's not late next year, it'll be early the year after.
And I just say that to remind people, No Way Home was the rushed one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
They bum
You know,
rushed that
the-
some bitch.
it didn't come off as rushed when I watched it, but man,
No,
okay.
but you got to remember that thing wasn't even conceived that way. That was a total
That's
like
true.
Spider-Man. I think the Spider-Man 3 we got is basically the first part of that movie.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that was what I think it was meant to be. Was this whole idea of him trying to figure out how to get around him, everybody knowing who he is, and then the whole bringing in the Spider-Man part that was late in the game because that came in
They were
after
responding
they
to the
announced
not
it to
Flash
Michael
movie.
Keaton, yeah, to
Yes.
Flash. So that came in after the fact, and they shot this thing, and it was out, and it was like boom, and the Flash movie's still 2 years out.
It's hard to believe that the Flash movie that was what kind of triggered them to do this movie was so crappy.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm not
isn't that ironic?
surprised, but
although to be fair, I actually tweeted before the Flash, before anything, like I tweeted at some point. I know it's not because of me, but I had a tweet that a lot of people reposted that I said that Sony should bring them back and should do a movie with all three of them. And then maybe not too long afterwards, it was announced.
I knew the Flash was going to suck simply because of the story they were basing it on. I'll say something controversial like I always do. Flashpoint is not as good as a story as you think it is. It kind of sucks because it makes no fucking sense.
That's
In fact,
what
the
I've
sad
pointed
part
out
is,
since day
in fact, the sad
one.
part is the Flash movie actually handles it better than the fucking comic did. And I know I pissed off certain individuals who actually worked on the comic at the time, and I don't give a shit. Because guess what? It's a stupid fucking story. It makes absolutely no fucking sense that anything that would happen in Flash's universe, and I mean that in just the sense of like his world, like as a young child, him stopping his mother from being killed shouldn't have any effect on Batman.
Or Superman.
Or Superman, or anybody else for that fucking matter. Especially shit that happened prior to that event. Now, in post that event, you can make a slight argument, but then the whole shockwave business is fucking
Dumb.
stupid. It's just stupid. It's just a dumb excuse for you to have an Elseworld story when all they had to do, because look, I like the Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne thing. That's cool. Do that as an Elseworlds thing. It didn't have to be part of this story. Because they didn't even use it for the Flashpoint, remember?
No, they didn't.
For the movie, I mean, sorry.
Right.
No, the thing is I think why they're trying to involve, Batman and all those characters in the book and the animation was because they're trying to show that, hey, look, when you mess with time, it doesn't just affect you.
The butterfly effect does not affect things in the past. People keep look, and I'm not yelling at you, Dova Clint. And I'm not yelling at you, Nick, but people keep using this excuse. It only affects things going forward.
Back to the Future explain this. Once you change one point in time, everything after that point changes as well. Nothing before it.
You changing something in the past only changes anything past that point.
Yes.
Batman's parents were already long dead by the time fucking
Flash's mom died, yes.
Flash's mom died. So even in that universe, that already happened.
I actually thought that the CW show did a better Flashpoint than the movie.
It kind of did in a weird way, but then they went off the rails once because here's what happened, and this is kind of where I'd heard something way back when I first started talking to my sources back in the day. They were going to do the Flashpoint story in CW, and I know, Script, you were probably close to this too, so you can either correct or...
version of it. It was
what happened was...
long.
The moment they decided they were going to make the movie Flashpoint, the TV show had to deviate away from it.
Yes.
They
managed to get they were going to do an entire season of Flashpoint, and it was called the Flashpoint season.
Yeah, and I think they were going to use
they had shot the first two episodes for it, and when they're just wrapping up post effects on it, that's when Warner Brothers, this would be 2016
6 or 7 or
I think
16 or
because
17,
they had already announced the Flash movie before the Flash TV series.
Right. Well, that's been in production hell forever. Yeah.
Yes, but they didn't say it was going to be a Flashpoint until after Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Because that was the whole reason why they casted
as
those two as not Ezra Miller, but the two parents. The two parents for Batman. The comedian guy. What's his name?
Oh God, something Dean.
Office Space.
Yeah. Jeffrey Dean Morgan and that other chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the chick from, I think she's from, is it Walking Dead? Walking Dead, something else. He's from Walking Dead.
Flash's parent wasn't Jeffrey Dean.
No, Batman. So,
Batman's,
because the whole thing was, this was supposed to be a Snyderverse Flashpoint. So at that point in the Flashpoint, when he goes back, they were going to have obviously the bad Batman and Mother and Joker thing.
Yeah,
is what they were planning on doing. It was obvious. Why else would you cast Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne, unless you're going to have him suit up as bad Batman, right?
Yes.
Or Dad Man, or whatever the fuck you want to call him.
But,
People have several names for him, but yeah.
When they were told that, they can't do Flashpoint anymore, they had to scramble and rewrite that entire season to resolve Flashpoint in the first 2 episodes because they had already done it.
Yeah.
And then I think that's a season where they actually have 1 episode that is legitimately only 31 minutes long instead of the standard 42.
Yeah,
Because
and then
they just did not have enough time.
And I think it's even set up in Green Arrow, because that's the other thing too, is like I think they were going to substitute Batman for Green Arrow's in his role instead.
Maybe. Yeah, I
think that was the initial plan.
Yeah.
And kind of do it that kind of way, but because that's why it always felt like they were kind of pushing Green Arrow into any of the places you needed Batman to fill in.
Well, that's just because CW never wanted to put Batman on television.
Well, they couldn't technically, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the producers working on the shows wanted to. CW themselves with Warner Brothers both did not want to do it.
Right, yeah. So, but yeah, no, and it's just a silly thing once you start thinking about it. All kind of falls apart at the seams. If you want to do that, you have to have some other kind of earth-shattering event that happens prior to any of those things happening that would affect things going forward. Then maybe you could do this, but having Flash do that makes absolutely no sense, because being one of the younger characters, all his events happen later than everybody else's anyway. And then ActionCom wonders what Nick is going to do Uncommon Valor on Toxic Tuesday.
It is inevitable.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's one that's been mentioned a few times.
It has been mentioned.
There's
There's a lot that have been mentioned that we still haven't gone. Because I've had to be like, oh, aren't you worried you're going to run on? I'm like, I'll worry about when I get there. But right now, there's still so much ground we haven't covered. I mean, we're just now getting to Blade next week. And that's after 150 episodes.
Speaking of Blade, we're dropping a Blade video here in a little bit.
Ooh.
That's 3 years? You've been doing Toxic Tuesday for 3 years?
Dude, it's crazy, man.
It doesn't feel like 3 years, but I know you've done a lot of episodes. So
it doesn't. Yeah, it's crazy. It's seriously so crazy. It's been going, like, I look back, I'm like, wow, this is wild. Like, it was supposed to originally be an idea that I just did for a few weeks, just so I didn't talk about the stuff going on with like the culture war per se. It was just me trying to get away from it for a few months, just to not talk about it every single place I go. And then it just took off and became its own thing. I was just like, oh, I guess I'll do it for a few more weeks. I'll do it for the summer. And the summer became, okay, fine, we're here to stay. So, and that's when it was a truly organic thing. You don't intend for those things to happen. They just kind of do.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think unless there's anything you guys want to really discuss that's out there in the ether, we can probably wrap this up and send folks over to the I don't think we're gonna do a premiere. It's just gonna be dropping here shortly.
Ooh. Give me a premiere.
Yeah, let me see if I can get a link from Andre.
Give me a link. I want a link.
So yeah, what do you got going on, Price?
Well, I have Quantum Leap revisited at 10 p.m. on Price of Reason Live, my live stream channel. And then at 11:45 p.m., there's the Night Owl. So 2 streams coming up on Price of Reason Live.
Awesome. So that's what you got going on, Nick.
I'll be on TNT later tonight, because I'm going to be visiting some old friends for a few hours. So I'll be reading. But I actually did put out videos. I put up 3 in the last week, which is I haven't been able to do in a while. And I will do another soon. So go watch them as a way of killing time and just enjoying me going off about cool things. Yeah. And of course, tomorrow night, Claudi's Comic Shop. Actually, it's an essential one outside of Toxic Tuesday Blade. We'll be having my buddy Russ Leach on, and I know we got a lot of Robert E. Howard fans in our chat. We'll be hosting his campaign for his original story on Cole the Conqueror. So it's gonna be the final few days of his campaign, and this is the first issue of his ongoing series titled The Atlantean. And we had Russ on a few months ago when he was doing his adaptation of the Shadow Kingdom. And well, that came out and it was great, and I loved it. And now I can't wait to help this man get more backers. So yeah, tomorrow's gonna be really awesome. Russ is a good dude. He's a fun Brit, and he knows how to drink, and he knows his Robert E. Howard. So he really covers all the great bases for a great Klobby's Comic Shop show.
And then we got Kalikioki. Oh, I heard some thunder. Jesus. Hearing rumors Kamala wants to talk to Joe Rogan. I thought she turned him down.
Official. Well, there was talks, and probably the news just didn't get to him. But now it's past tense. It's now apparently she turned it down.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I thought I read that earlier just before the show. Kalikioki says with $2, you think is this because Trump is going to talk to him? Maybe now. Is that what's going on? Is she's changing her mind at the last minute? I wouldn't be surprised.
So is it still a chance she's going to go on or no?
I don't know. I'd have to find out.
Is it not? All I know is the only way that type of show matters is if it's no teleprompter, no delay, no chopping up parts to make her look good, or even not even to make her look bad. Just have her be as she is. And if good comes out of it, good comes out of it, which I don't see it being the case, but I'm trying to be fair here is what I'm trying to get at. But that's the one problem with her campaign is she wants to decide all the rules for her campaign, and she doesn't bend to anything. So right. The questions after, if she truly believes in what she believes on, she don't need all this stuff. So whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to get too deep into the politics here, but yeah.
Fair.
I already voted, so I'm done and over with it. Now just wait and find out what happens.
Oh, hopefully we'll be unburdened by what has been in a few weeks.
Well, technically January 20th.
I had to. It was the perfect timing. It's because well, we are dealing right now with what is being, and hopefully in a few weeks we'll actually be able to use that saying in funnier context. We'll see though.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I sent a video to Flash earlier. I didn't make it, but I said, you should take this because I see this video in the beginning of Flashcast, but I see it with the music from Hulk Hogan, I'm a Real American. You guys seen this yet?
That was funny. That was good.
People are so imaginative these days.
Oh, I know.
I don't know. Maybe it just works. I mean, it works both ways, I guess. Still. All right. Yeah, we're gonna be dropping that shortly here. So head on over there. Here's the link. I don't know if it's ready yet, but it will be. Script, you got something coming up on Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday on Scripts on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing a script called The Peasant, which based on the log line sounds like it's a 14th century John Wick story. So doesn't have guns, but lots of swords, I'm guessing.
Awesome. And yes, the video is live, so head on over there and watch the video, guys, and check out Price later on. Check out the comics show if you want to check us out there. I don't know if I'll show up tonight or not, but I'm sure Nick will be there. Otherwise, I think Script's going to be on with Price, and Sadie has to go out. So
sounds good.
Take care, guys, and have a good night. See you next time.